Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to all. Okay, before we start, okay, I would like to clarify on the group assignment, okay, because I've been getting messages, WhatsApp messages from several students, asking about similar things. So I think I will take this, platform to explain rather than having to explain one person at a time. Okay, regarding your group assignment, okay, so the deadline that was posted on your OL, okay, the three deadlines, the first is the framework, okay, and then the second one is your first version or the draft, and final is the final submission, okay. So I believe the framework is due on tomorrow, right, on 17th. So basically what the framework that you need to submit is basically just if you look at the example that was given on, okay, let me share my screen now. Okay, so if you look at the material that was uploaded on in your OL, okay, on the assignment, okay, with the topics, suggested topics, okay. So since I don't get any suggestions from other topics to change the group topic, okay, or so I will assume that everyone will continue with the proposed title. Okay, assignment content framework, okay, which is due tomorrow. Okay, so what is required is basically, okay, your assignment is only 10 pages maximum, okay, excluding attachment and content, okay. So minimum 8 to 10. So if you divide the assignment into the four sections given, okay, section 1, introduction, 2, 3, and 4. So I believe section 3 will have most of the, you need to allocate more pages on section 3, okay, whereby this is the main part, okay. So let's say out of 10 pages, so this will take at least, I think, 4 pages, okay, 4 to 5 pages on this 3. And section 1, maybe introduction, maybe maximum 1 page, okay. Literature review and concept, let's say another 2 pages. So 2 plus 1, 3 plus 5 pages here, 5 plus 1 plus 2, 3 plus 5, 8. So conclusion, another 2 pages long. So 10 pages excluding your references, okay, whereby you need to follow the EPA style, okay, and if you got any other attachment, okay, or whatever graph or tables, okay, that you want to include, okay. So the 10 pages is basically just your writing, okay. So before I go into slide, I discuss a bit on literature review because I got questions on what is literature review as well from several students, okay. So the framework is basically how your assignment will look like, okay, in terms of what do you plan to write for the introduction, okay, just some basic points. It's not like you're going to write the whole introduction. Framework is, at least I know that you got the idea of what to write, okay, or how to proceed with the rest of the contents, okay, in the assignment. So for example, Okay, so for example, for introduction, okay, you can just put one line here, definition of one or two lines or one or two basically you can just use bullets, okay. uh, I subscript, okay, I dot, okay, 2 dot 3 dot or A B C. So basically just outline the things that you wish to explain further in your actual assignment. Okay, the same thing here as concept. Okay, what concept that you wish to use, if you got any definition, okay, any terms. Okay, so just mention the terms here. Definition of, let's say we go for unemployment. Okay, definition of unemployment, and then literature review of uh, of let's say paper by, I mean, you don't need to mention all the journals or the articles that you are going to refer to. Okay, so you can just, let's say, mention literature review of several papers. Okay, but at least when I go through this section 1, 2, 3, and 4, I know what you're going. So you have in your own group, so you got the idea of how or what you want to write actually. So basically at this stage, you should have your materials already. Okay, hopefully most of the materials you have collected so far. Okay, maybe especially on item number, on section 3. Okay, so that is what I need on tomorrow in terms of the structure. Not you no need to write in full sentence, just bullet points. Okay, section 3 for example. Okay, so you can just make uh, go back to the specific topic that you need to explain, let's say on higher education. Okay, so section 3, so let's say item 1 or paragraph 1 or section 3.1, what is your subtopic? Section 3.2, what will be your subtopic that you wish to explain? Okay, just no need a full sentence, just few words should be enough. So at least when I go through the framework, I know that you have the basic idea of what you want to explain for the rest of the assignments. Okay, so that will be the idea for framework. Okay, and for conclusion, it's the same thing. Okay, so is what you have so far, but of course maybe at this stage you are still looking for materials, for articles, for journals, okay, on what to write. Okay, but at least 1 or 2 points, bullet points on section 4 should be enough. What do you plan to write? Okay, because you still got almost like a month from now. Okay, because your final submission will be on 14th of December, approximately like 28 days from now. So still plenty of time for you to still looking for materials, articles, okay, for you to come up with a good assignment. Okay, so that is what I need. So basically for tomorrow deadline for the framework is just maximum 1 page. Okay, framework. Uh, I mean, like for example, how you see here. Okay, of course this is a bit detailed because you don't expect to have so many subtopics for a 10-page assignment. Okay, so because this is just a 10-page assignment, you don't need so many subtopics under the same I mean under one section. Okay, so this is a bit too much or too detailed. Okay, 3.3.1, because at the end of the day, if you go by the page numbers of how many pages per assignment, per section. So section 3 for example, maximum 5 pages. So 5 pages, maybe you can only allocate, for example, 3 subtopics. Okay, 3.1, 3.2, and maybe 3.3, because every subtopic maybe you require 1 page, okay, or maybe half a page, depending on what you plan to write. Okay, so no need, because even under this subtopic you have another subtopic. So I don't think in your assignment you need to go through even this detail, because this is basically on actual thesis format. Okay, or if you write a thesis like 100 pages long, 200 pages long, then this will be relevant. But in a 10-page assignment, okay, under subtopic, then you need to break down into further subtopic may not be relevant to you unless you only require one or two subtopic, okay, one or two subtopic, okay. So just be smart in your in terms of how you wish to allocate your points, okay, your subtopics, okay, because at the end of the day, it's just a 10-page assignment. So if there are 5 of you, okay, one person need to spend around 2 pages maximum, okay. If there are 4 of you, maybe around 3 pages maximum for one person, okay. So it's not really that much of to ask in terms of um, and then if you look at the formatting here, double spacing. Okay, double spacing meaning that you need to write even less. One page 12, font 12, double spacing. So there's not a lot, not much to write if you go by the formatting here. Okay, so be smart in terms of what you want to put. Okay, because when you start collecting materials, you end up having a lot of stuff that you need to write, that you can write, okay, based on what you have collected. So not everything will be relevant in a 10-page assignment. So be smart in terms of what you wish to include, especially on section 3, okay. Okay, before okay, and then one last point on literature review. Okay, nowadays you can find what is, I mean, of course, in this assignment, I don't expect your literature review will be as, like a general quality literature review. Literature review is basically a summary, okay, of the paper that you refer to. So usually when you refer to a journal paper, okay, any journal paper, usually will have one section in the journal that is put under the heading of literature review. Okay, so that will be what you need to follow. Okay, let me show you one example, okay, of literature review. Um, okay, I will share my screen. Okay, give me a few seconds here. I need to. Um, okay. Okay, if you look at this paper here, okay, so I mean, not all journal papers we have one specific section that is called literature review. Okay, so what literature review does is basically you summarize, okay, the maybe I mean, of course, in a general article, okay, the literature review can be very compressed, okay, meaning that basically you are, let's say you mentioned, okay, according to Krugman, okay, so so basically you are writing around 2 to 3 lines on what this person has done. Okay, and usually when you read a journal paper, okay, the beginning of any journal paper you will have an abstract. Okay, abstract means a summary. Okay, a summary of what the paper is all about. What is the main objective? Okay, what is the method that the author used, and what will be the main findings? Okay, so of course this is a bit too long for one paper if you want to write. Okay, but at your level, okay, because you are required to collect or to refer to around how many papers that you need? Okay, 15 references, right? 15 references, including books, okay? So not all of these references you need to put in the literature review, okay? Maybe in your literature review, you only refer to maybe 6, 7, or 8 papers, okay, in your literature review section. Okay, because at the end of the day, if I say that section 2 will only require 2 pages long. Okay, so every paper or every journal that you refer to, that you want to make a summary, maybe you can only write 3 to 4 lines maximum, okay, for one paper. So if you look at this, any journal for that matter, okay, you will have a section on at the beginning of the paper, you have this abstract. So you don't need to read the whole paper to understand what the paper is about. But when you go through the abstract, you will get the idea of what the paper is about. I mean, as long as the paper has got something to do with your assignment, okay? Not necessarily that the paper has to be exactly the same topic as your assignment. At least maybe you want to extract certain components or certain findings, okay, on the paper, so that can be you can get the idea from the abstract alone. Okay, no need to go through the whole thesis or the whole journal. Okay, because this is just an introduction for. I mean, this is just a simple assignment at 1,000 level paper. Okay, so I don't expect a lot of in of the level of discussion. Shouldn't be that detailed. So literature review is something that you, so when you read, for example, here also, okay, a journal paper, I think I already uploaded a video on how to use Sci-Hub, okay, in order to extract the paper from Google Scholar, okay. So if you find a journal that has a separate literature review section like this, okay, of course, sometimes in one paragraph, they for example, like in this one line alone, they refer to so many papers, okay. But you don't need to write this way, okay, because this is journal style writing. Yours is more like an assignment. So maybe in one line or 2 or 3 lines, you want to mention, okay, according to Huang 2007, okay, they said that, okay, or they claim that, okay, you can use this, they found evidence of blah 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 blah, okay. So you can find the summary of the report or the summary of the findings in the abstract alone, okay. No need to go through the whole article for you to read, okay. So it's suffice that you only refer to the abstract, but as long as the paper that you refer to can give some meaning or contribute, can add to the understanding of what your discussion will be, so that is fine for me, okay. So I would prefer that most of your references will come from journal, okay. But if you need to write, if you need to add some, okay, and because you also got section on introduction, right? Okay, introduction. Okay, you want to give background of your paper, of your assignment. So this can also be based from news report, okay, website, research report, okay. So how to refer to news portal, okay, newspaper writing, okay, that one you can find uh, in this link here, or you can just Google from internet, okay, how to cite, okay, how to make citation from website, okay. But I think this link here provide all the types of sources that you will usually use, okay. The easiest one is of course using journal paper, okay. But if you want to get any, if you take your definition, for example, from news from a website, okay, so you can use this link here, and it will give you some idea how to cite properly from a website, okay. So literature review, I would prefer most of them will come from journal paper, okay. So from the 15 references, okay, maybe half of them you need to allocate in the literature review or section 2, okay, because when you read a paper, sometimes they will also give you the definition, okay. Maybe this one it can come from your textbook, even from annual textbook, okay. If you want to use or any definition, even you find the definition from internet, okay, that can be part of section 2 as well. So most of the references, maybe it's half of them should be here, so it makes your life easier to actually because section 3 you can just discuss based on website reports, okay, or whatever graph, tables that you find from the internet that can help you to answer the assignment. Okay, so introduction, you can also make references. Okay, so when you refer to an article, okay, the way for you to write the references, if you sometimes it can be in bracket, for example, like this. Okay, sometimes the references is not in bracket. So what's the difference between you put a bracket or versus you don't put a bracket like this? Okay, if you don't put a bracket when you make the sentence, for example, according to John 2010. So meaning the word according to, okay, according to John, in bracket the year, okay, this year is based on the year the article is published. So this one you can refer to the, for example here, okay, to 2020, right? So according to Lin and Su, 2020, okay, but how you want to cite this, I already show you. You can take from Google Scholar, okay. I give you the video on that, okay. So if you make a sentence like this, according to, or an example is Amano Northern 1998. So when you put a sentence like this, so the reference or the name of the author shouldn't be in bracket. But if you write a sentence and then that sentence somehow relates to the paper by Mr. X, then you put in bracket like this. Okay. So for example, this statement, this channel explain the exchange rate reliably on oil price, on oil, blah, 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 full stop. So this sentence indirectly or directly refer to the statement made by this person. So then you make a reference style, you put a bracket. Okay, so there are two ways for you to write the reference. One, you put a sentence, and this sentence refers to this person punya this person, the article from this person, from this author. Then you put in bracket at the end of the sentence. But if you wish to write according to Ali 2010, according to John 2003. So if that is the style of writing, then the name, the brackets only for the year. Okay, and then you continue writing. Okay, because when you put some reference like this, you sometimes use the word they or he or she, depending on if the person more than two, then you put they lah. Okay, according to John, he said that. Okay, he found that. Okay, the impact of coronavirus on GDP is negative, for example. So so these are the way. So when you read few papers, you should get the idea of how to write. I mean, how to make your citation. Okay, well, of course, I don't expect the way of your referencing will be good. Okay, because even a master student or even at PhD level, some students are still struggling to write a proper literature review. Okay, but at least, okay, this is your first attempt. So try to follow as closely as possible to when you read a journal paper. Okay, so as I mentioned, there are two ways. One, you put in terms of writing. Okay, for example, Huang and Feng estimate. Okay, so this sentence is directly you are talking about this person. Okay, so the person name can start, and then you put the bracket in here, and then you start the sentence. Okay, but if you want to put in terms of the bracket like this, so usually you start the sentence first, and then that sentence indirectly refers to these people. Okay, you can even have 2 or 3 references under one sentence, so meaning that the sentence are also relevant. Okay, so this summary is also discussed by three people or 3 authors. So that's how you write. You can combine three journals or 3 references under one sentence. Okay, so you can do this also. So not necessarily one sentence, one paragraph, one reference. Okay, if you find papers from especially on COVID-19, so there are many papers who have looked at this issue. So depending on how you want to write or allocate your page number. So as I mentioned, this part only requires 2 pages. Okay, double spacing 2 pages. So I think you can combine. For example, one sentence you can refer to 2 or 3 people, 2 or 3 journals. Okay, as what you see here. Okay, they combine. Meaning that if that sentence is, if that study also been done by different people, but they find something very similar, so then you can combine, you can have 3 or 4 references under one sentence. So, okay, so that's how basically you write a literature review. Okay, you can even Google on YouTube, okay, on video how to write a simple literature review, or you can, the best way is just when you go for journal articles, okay, get the article from Google Scholar and also Sci-Hub, okay. So if you find journal articles that come with the literature review, okay, so that's give you some idea on how to write, okay. So that is what I the literature review is, okay. At the end of the day, it's just 2 to 3 pages maximum, okay. So okay, here when you make the discussion, okay, on section 3, so depending on what your topic is, okay, for example, policies during COVID-19 and its implication, okay, so topic, most of this topic, you no need to specify specifically on Malaysia. It can be on other countries, several countries, or the whole world as in general, okay, so meaning that you are not confined only to one specific country. It depends on what you want to do, okay. So we don't specify any except for the last topic, okay, in Malaysia. Gig economy, meaning like, the Grab car, Food Panda, all of this new style of economy, part-time basis business. Okay, so but the rest, okay, it can be, you can choose the country, or you can if you if you specify one country, then it's a bit difficult for you to find materials. So I would suggest don't specify any country, specific country, but if you find one specific country and you want to focus on that, okay, it's fine for me. But if you want to combine, you want to write in general, okay, the whole world in general, then you have more materials or more, it's more easier to write because you can refer to the economy in general. Okay, for example, you can discuss in China, maybe one paragraph, the impact on supply side in Malaysia, maybe another paragraph, okay, and the rest. Okay, so meaning in section 3 also, if you refer to any resources from the article, from internet, from website, you can also put the references, or you can also cite, okay, the articles in section 3, as long as you fulfill the 15 references at least, okay. The more the better lah. It's not like 15 you need to stop, okay. The word at least means, okay, you want to see because there are 4 to 5 of person in one group, okay. I think only one group only got 3 because the other student dropped the paper, okay. But for most of you, okay, 15 references, meaning one person can find 3 or 4 references, then there should be around 20 references already, okay. So I want to see how you utilize, okay, the internet, Google Scholar to get the references, okay, not limited to 15 only. So at least means the more the better, okay. So because it shows, because at the end of the day, how I will examine or give marks to your assignment, okay, is based on one of the component is how well each group can use the material, okay, from the internet, from the journal to write the report, okay. So meaning that is the test of your skill of how you extract articles, okay, and use all the resources available from the internet, okay, from journal, from website, magazines, books, okay, and use them to make your assignment as rich as possible in terms of the sources of material. Meaning, the reason why we specify at least 15 reference, because we want to see how you utilize the resources, okay, in the web, okay, the internet, to come out with a simple assignment like this. Okay, so I think I've done, I explained a bit too much, I think, or so hopefully I don't get any other questions. So for tomorrow, the framework just, okay, in bullet points, okay, discussing all the 4 sections, what you plan to write. So no need to have sub topics, okay, because section 2, 2.1, and then maybe 2.2, 2.3. Okay, no need to have even, but even if you want to have 2.1.1, okay, don't have, I mean, no need to have so many subtopics because you only have 2 to 3 pages for one section. Okay, so you need to imagine how much you can write. Okay, if you have so many subtopics under one section. Okay, and then the first draft, the 24th of November. Okay, so this is basically if you have okay, the requirement is 10 pages, right, maximum. So in the first draft, okay, of course, I need to see something almost like 70% ready. So your content could be maybe up to 7 pages long, 6 pages long. Okay, so that is what first draft is about. Okay, final draft is meaning you submit the complete work. Okay, not the final draft. Basically, it's the final submission. Okay, meaning with the title, with the complete front page, okay, and then the table of a simple table of content from page 1 to page 10, and then also your references, okay, how you see in a journal. Okay, normally when you go through the journal, the last page, you will see the references. Okay, so this is how you will expect to write your references. Okay. So the first draft, 24th November, meaning another, okay, around 8 days from now, okay. So I expect around, okay, not the full 10 pages, okay, maybe 6 pages, 7 pages. If you want to give the full 10, is okay, okay. But of course, this is not the final work, meaning you need to do some touch up, okay. So I will go through the assignment in brief. Okay, maybe I will just give a general comment, okay, what you need to improve, okay, and then the final submission is on the 14th, okay, of course. So you have plenty of time to improve from to the 24th to the 14th. So almost like 3 weeks in the difference between. So basically why I need this one early is that I know you have a clear picture of what you want to discuss much further into detail in the final version. So the first draft can be 5-6 pages long, okay? So at least I can see you have some material in the introduction, some in the definition, literature review, some points in the, some paragraph for section 3, and also maybe a few lines for your conclusion. Okay, so that will be the idea for first draft. Okay, are we clear? So I hope I've explained this thing in great detail. So I don't need to, hopefully I don't get any other questions with the assignment because it takes too much time of your lecture already to explain this thing over and over again. Okay, so I will upload this video again as usual on your YouTube. Okay, and you can go back to the video and see what just again if you're still not clear. But I think I explained this thing. I mean, that's the purpose of having the first draft. Okay, I mean the first draft and also the framework. So the framework will give me an idea of whether you are clear on what to write, or basically it's like a roadmap, okay, the map of your plan for the whole assignment. And the first draft is basically a few pages, 5 pages, 6 pages long, halfway through. So at least I know that you got the materials, you know how to write a bit on the literature review, a bit on the discussion, a bit on the introduction. So by the time you submit the full assignment, okay, you are on the right track already when you submit the first draft. So that's the plan actually. Okay, so let's continue with the lecture. Okay, before we, basically today the plan is to start with topic number 6, okay, because we already in week 6, okay. So time flies very, very fast, okay. So I will explain just a bit on topic number 6, and then we will discuss maybe another few questions on the multiple choice question on topic 5, okay, that we didn't finish entirely last Thursday. Okay, so topic number 6 in your syllabus, okay, is about the cost of production. Okay, so this is the part where I mentioned before that your syllabus is divided according to the apa tu? According to consumer and also producer side. Okay, so the first 4 topics that we have discussed so far, okay, those are related to consumers. Okay, from except topic number 1. Okay, so beginning on topic number 2, basically this is a bit general, and then actually topic number 3, demand, supply, and then we learn on elasticity, and finally last week we learned on consumer behavior theory. Okay, the utility concept, the budget line, the budget constraint. Okay, so up to topic number 5 is about consumer, and then topic 6, 7. Okay, so the next 2 topics is about producers. Okay, it's about supplier. Okay, so so in your assignment, if you are discussing something on the supply side, okay, you can apply a simple theory that you learn in this topic, okay, to apply if there's anything relevant to your assignment. Basically, just on the supply side, a simple graph will do, because at your level, I don't expect the discussion to be very advanced, because you are just learning, especially those who are not non-economic students, okay, from education, from marketing students. So you don't learn economics as your main course. So this is maybe just maybe the only paper of economics that you learn throughout your whole 3 year, 4 years program. Okay, so so that's the idea for, so the next 2 topics is about producers. Okay, so on the supply side, okay, on the producer side. The previous 3 is about consumer side. Okay, so okay, the cost of production. Okay, so basically what the topic, or what the next 2 topics is about, is to illustrate, okay, basically on the, if you are a producer or a supplier, okay, someone who wants to do a business, okay, so at the end of the before you start doing a business, of course you need to know what to produce, okay, what do you want to sell, okay, at what price that you need to put up the price. Okay, so if you recall in the chapter 1, okay, we have the basic question in economics: what, how, okay, and for whom. Okay, so basically when the producer has answered this question, what to produce, how you want to produce, and whom do you want to produce it for. Okay, so for example, you want to set up a shop or a business, online business, so you need to discuss, you need to decide what do you want to sell, okay, and then at what price that you want to sell your products at, and then whom are your target consumers. Okay, is it for, for specific gender, male or female. Okay, you have your target market group, target group, for example, if you're selling cosmetic products, or are you selling household products, or are you selling gadgets, okay, and whatnot. Okay, so that will be the concept of a producer. Okay, so here, because previously we mentioned about consumers, correct? Okay, when consumer is at equilibrium, okay, the ratio of marginal utility over price between the 2 products are the same. MUX over PX equals to MUY over PY. Okay, if you recall from our last week lecture. Okay, it's the same. Something is quite similar thing will be discussed here. Okay, but in terms of producer, we have this concept of short run versus long run. Okay, short run means a very short time period, maybe 2 months, 3 months, or maybe less than 1 year. Okay, depending on what business you are dealing with. Okay, for example, if you're selling vegetable in the wet market, okay, short run might be the first few hours. Okay, long run could be more than 1 day, because if you're selling fish, for example, okay, the fish, if you're selling fresh fish, you take the fish from the wholesaler in the morning. So short run means from morning maybe until late evening. The next day, the fish will be less fresh. Okay, so the price that you can sell for the fish on the second day cannot be as high as when the fish is very fresh on the first day. Okay, so short run versus long run, depending on the type of business. But in general, usually we say short run is between 3 months to maximum 1 year. Okay, and more than 1 year is usually long run period. Okay, short run period, okay, and long run period, meaning how many months into the future, okay, are you talking about the production. Okay, and also a bit of another concept of economy of scale. Okay, and beside that, we also discuss different type of costs. Okay, variable cost, fixed cost, okay, total cost, and also another concept that would be on marginal cost. Okay, so these are the things that will be discussed briefly. So of course, for economic students, when they study microeconomics in detail, okay, next semester they will look at this concept again, but in much greater detail. Okay, but for non-economic students, okay, is for principle of economics, okay, you only need to know the surface, meaning the concept, the definition. Okay, okay, next we look at this concept of total revenue, total cost and profit. So I think by now you should know, in economics, okay, sometimes the accounting term and economics term could be slightly different. Okay, because but in terms of calculating profit, okay, we don't specify economics and accounting term. We just use the simple concept, general concept. Profit is revenue minus cost. Okay, how do you calculate revenue? Is the amount that you get from the sale. For example, you sell one gadget at 10 ringgit per item. If you sell 10 units, to 10 multiplied by 10 is 100 ringgit lah, you get. So that will be your revenue. Okay, the cost is basically the cost for you to produce and to sell the product, okay, in the market. So for example, the cost of one item, let's say 5 ringgit. Okay, but if you sell the item online, okay, online, and then you need to take into account the shipping cost, the commission on the online platform. For example, if you're selling in Shopee or Lazada, okay, for every item that you sell, there will be a cost or the commission you need to deduct to the online platform like Shopee or Lazada. So that could be the cost as well. Okay, so whatever cost that you incur, okay, revenue minus cost, you get your profit. Or sometimes we use the term TR minus TC. Okay, TR is total revenue, okay, minus TC, total cost. Okay, so in economics, actually we have the concept of explicit versus implicit cost. So this could be relevant in a multiple choice questions style of question. Okay, where you will be given certain items, whether that fall under explicit or implicit. Explicit is something that you pay directly in terms of you can calculate directly what is the cost. Okay, for example, the cost that you pay to your workers. Okay, but implicit is something indirect. Okay, so in accounting, usually they don't include implicit cost. Okay, but in economics, because we already learned in the very beginning what is opportunity cost. Okay, so opportunity cost is, for example, if you were to, for example, uh, okay, if you do a business, okay, uh, or for example, if you choose to close your shop for 1 day, okay, so what will be the cost of, let's say you want to go for a kenduri, for example, or you want to visit, you just want to take a 1 day break. Okay, so implicit cost is if you go for a 1 day break, for example, you want to go for, just visit some friend, okay, or go outside and do a bit of window shopping, okay. And then the implicit cost is, if you were to do your business on that day, okay, what will be the income that you could get, okay, if you had not closed your shop on that day, okay. So that will be your implicit cost, indirect cost, okay, that do not require a cash outlay, okay. So usually in economics we measure this by opportunity cost, okay. So just take note, you have two type of costs, explicit and implicit, okay. uh, so this is true whether the costs are implicit or explicit, both matter for firm's decision, because in economics we not only calculate explicit direct cost but also implicit cost, okay. If you do one thing, what is your the other thing that because you do one thing, you cannot have both things at the same time, okay. For example, now you are studying online, right? If you had not registered for a degree course this year, okay, maybe let's say you can start working part-time, or you can have a full-time job, okay. So your opportunity cost of uh, you know investing your time for degree course is the money that you could have earned if you had work full-time, okay. Maybe in a good, if you apply for a job, and if you get a job, let's say 1 month you get 1,500 ringgit. So every month you lose 1,500 ringgit. So that will be your opportunity cost of pursuing your degree. Okay. So that is something that okay, the concept of you do something, okay, so you cannot have everything. Okay. So if you choose to study the next 4 years, okay, compared to, let's say, you got friends who do not pursue the undergraduate, okay, and they are working right now. So for every month they earn certain amount of money. So that could be your opportunity cost if you want to look that way lah. Okay. And then of course, because we in economics we take into account explicit and implicit cost. So the calculation of profit will be slightly different, because our revenue in accounting they only use revenue minus total cost, total explicit cost. Okay, but for economics, revenue minus cost, the cost does not only include explicit but also implicit. Okay, so because accounting they ignore implicit, so the amount of profit will be higher than economic profit, because we have one more component here. Okay, and this component is included in the calculation of cost. So our component for total cost is bigger. When this is bigger, of course the profit will be less under economic calculation formula. Okay, so this is another concept that but of course, in principle of economics, okay, the main thing is just you need to understand this concept here, okay. And then what is production function? Is basically the relationship between how many inputs that you need to use and what will be the output, okay. Let's say you have labor, you have bahan mentah, okay, raw materials. Okay, so how many inputs that you put in, and how many workers that you use, your land, your workers, and what will be the output when you combine all of your inputs. Okay, and this is just a simple two-dimensional graph. Okay, so the production function for this person is basically the how many labors and how many wheat, okay, bushels of wheat that can be produced. Okay, so basically the more workers that this farmer employ, the higher will be the output. The total output will keep on increasing and increasing. Okay, so that is basically what production function is. Okay, so it shows you the ratio between input and output. Okay, how many inputs that you use and the corresponding output. Okay, so that is the concept of production function. Okay, but the y-axis here is the total output. Okay, total output, TQ. okay, total output or total product. So another concept when you mention about total output, okay, just like in consumer, you have total utility and you also have marginal utility, MU. Okay, so if you recall from our last week lecture, MU is marginal utility is additional utility you get by consuming one additional product. Okay, I use the example of watching a movie for the first time, okay, for the second time, okay, for the third time. So for example, if you watch Avengers Endgame last year, okay, so the first time will be very suspend because you do not know what is the ending, okay, and then but if you still want to watch the movie for the second time, you know how the ending will be, okay, so the amount of utility that you get watching the movie second time maybe not as high as the first time. Okay, that is the concept of MU, marginal, the additional satisfaction that you get. So the same thing with producer. Okay, when a producer produce a product, okay, using a simple production function like this, your y-axis is your total output or total product. Okay, but another important concept is not just about TQ, but also about not just about TP, total product, but also about MP, marginal product. Okay, because when you see here, okay, you add more workers, the higher will be the output. Okay, so but you need to know, is it worth it to add more and more workers? Of course, you can see that the graph is upward sloping, meaning the more workers that you employ, the higher product that you can produce. But is it wise to keep on? Is it a good idea to keep on adding one worker at a time? From one employee, you have two employees, three workers, four workers, five workers. How many workers can you keep on going to add? Okay, and is it beneficial for the company to keep on adding workers, more and more workers? So in economics, we are not only concerned about the TP, total product, but also at marginal product. Marginal product is similar to marginal utility. Okay, marginal utility is how much satisfaction or utility that a person gets when they consume one additional product. Okay, you first watch a movie the first time, what is your utility? Okay, when you watch the movie the second time, what is your additional utility, your MU? So the same thing here, marginal product is when you employ one more worker, what is the additional output? Okay, marginal product of labor, meaning when you add one more labor, okay, by having another labor, that second labor contributes to how many increase in output. Okay, so that will be the concept, the formula for MP. Okay, so the formula is we have L here, okay, because usually our main input is labor, correct? Okay, so we use the term MPL, marginal product of labor. When you add one more labor, okay, so you want to see by adding one more workers, what will be the change in output? So the formula is change in Q divided by change in L. Okay, meaning if you look at here, when you move from first employee, first worker to second worker, by having a second worker, the addition of the second worker adds to how many unit increase in output. Okay, so that will be the concept of MPL, change in Q divided by change in L. Okay, similar to our marginal utility. Okay, if you recall the formula for marginal utility, change in TU, total utility, divided by change in consumption. Okay, so that will be the example here. Okay, this is the number of labor from 0 labor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the total product, TP. Okay, 0 workers, 0 output. You produce the set, when you add one labor, you get 1,000. You add second labor, you get 1,800. Okay, so this is total product. Okay, but MPL is the change in Q divided by change in L. So the formula is 1,000 minus 0 divided by 1 minus 0. So you get 1,000 here. Okay. The second one, when you add second labor, the MPL will be 800. How do you get this? 18 minus 1000 divided by 2 minus 1. So you get 800. So you can see here that your MPL, okay, when you add more and more workers, the MPL actually keeps on declining from 1000 to 800, 600, and then 400, and then 200. Although you see that the TP increase, okay, the total product increase, but when you add more and more workers, every additional worker actually contribute less increase in output. Meaning that if you imagine that if you have a shop, okay, or a factory, when you keep on increasing the number of workers, sometimes by having more workers, it is not really contributing a lot to the output. Okay, because what matters most for the employer, for the majikan, okay, for the producer is by having additional workers, what will be the additional output? Okay, does the 5% that you employ actually contributes more, or actually you need to because every worker you pay the same, okay, for instance. But if you keep on adding more and more workers, in terms of the cost of labor versus the cost of the number of output that you can actually produce by having more and more workers, so the firm need to decide how many workers that the company needs to keep on using, or adding workers, okay, versus the MPL. Okay, so here you can see a simple way to calculate change in Q divided by change in L. Okay, so you can illustrate it here. Okay, you add from one worker to the second worker. So the change in output from the first to the second worker, okay, is basically here is 1008. Okay, of course, so 1008 minus 1000 divided by 2 minus 1. So you can see from this line here, okay, the changes or the MPL. Okay, so why MPL diminish? So this is another concept, okay, that you need to understand. Okay, diminish mean, if you recall from the consumer side, we also have the concept of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, so if you recall from the topic number 5, okay, last Monday and Thursday, okay, especially on, I think last when we discussed the concept of the law of diminishing marginal utility. So it happens on the consumer, it also happens for the producer. Means that you add for the consumer, when you keep on consuming more and more of the same product, okay, so when you keep on add more and for consumer, when you keep on adding or consuming more and more of the same product, okay, your utility starts to decrease, okay, or diminish. Okay, so the same thing for producer. Okay, when you keep on adding more and more workers, okay, the marginal product will start to decrease. Okay, so the MPL diminishes or decreases. Okay, so what you see here, okay, when you have one worker, the additional output is 1000. But when you employ the second worker, 1000 now drop to 800, and then it keeps on diminishing or decreasing. Okay, so this is a simple logic, okay, becoming less and less productive. So if you imagine, if you have a very small shop, okay, so by having too many workers working in the same floor or working in the same area, you find that sometimes because the movement become very restricted, okay, you cannot move around, or you need even to share the same equipment. Okay, so if you imagine working on the land, okay, so you might be, I mean, certain business or certain type of uh, production, okay, it might, I mean, sometimes less is better. Okay, so the production side, okay, if you keep on adding workers, sometimes by having too many workers working in the same floor, in the same shop, okay, it becomes less and less productive, okay, less efficient. Okay, so that's why one of the reasons that can cause the MPL to decrease, to start to reduce, okay, or we use the word diminishing, okay, or diminishes because of productivity becoming less and less, becoming less and less productive. Okay, so in general, MPL diminishes as L is labor, rises, whether the fixed input land or capital. Okay, so the idea here is if you, because in production you have variable input and fixed input. Variable input is labor, meaning input that you can change. Usually the variable input is labor lah. Okay, labor will be the common or bahan mentah, okay, or raw material. That, for example, if today you decide you want to add one more employee, what you need to do is you would just put outside your shop, okay, you put workers wanted, okay, or employees wanted, okay, and then people will start coming for interview, and you can even get this your next employee on the same day. Or if you do not want your employee, you can say, okay, today will be your last day, okay, I don't need you tomorrow anymore. Okay, so this could be maybe for part-time job. Okay, if you need a part-time workers, you can just advertise and you get your workers on the same day. But for other inputs, what we call a fixed input that cannot be added, okay, increase or decrease easily. Usually, this got to do with high cost of your input, for example, equipment, machines, land, for example, okay. If you require additional land, okay, it's not like something that you can buy today, okay. You go to the bank and get, 100,000 easily, or you can, if you want to buy a new vehicle or new machines, for example, it takes times for the shop or for the company to acquire, okay, or to obtain new equipment. So in the real world, okay, we have variable input and also fixed input, okay. So because in the real world, when you have fixed input, like how many machines, okay, how many lands, how many acres of land, okay, berapa hektar tanah, how many units of machines that you have in your shop, okay. So we assume that this is fixed, meaning you cannot change this input easily. But when you keep on adding workers, one worker, two workers, three workers, and these workers have to keep on sharing the same number of equipment or machines in the same shop, okay. So that's why it will become less productive to keep on adding workers because of the problems of fixed input. Okay, you cannot keep on adding inputs, both labor and fixed input at the same time. You can add variable input like labor, but you cannot simply change fixed inputs easily. Okay, it will take time. Okay, so diminishing marginal product just now. Okay, marginal product of an input decline as the quantity of input. Okay, so this one refers to variable input. Okay, quantity of input increases. Okay, so this relates to variable input. Okay, namely workers. Okay, because in economics, okay, your variable input is usually usually our variable input is employees or workers. Okay, so diminishing marginal product, okay, occurs when the quantity of variable input, especially, okay, namely workers, okay, you keep on increasing, but other things equal. This is referring to fixed input. Okay, so that will be uh, the the concept of diminishing marginal product. Okay, okay. So I'll stop on that part first. Okay, and then we'll continue on our next lecture. Okay, so I will Now, okay, I will just show, we discuss a few more questions on topic number 5, okay, on the utility concept, okay. So we stop until the concept of diminishing marginal product, okay. Okay, so last Thursday, okay, we stopped at this calculation, okay, how to calculate the income value. Okay, so if you recall, most of you chose C, 480, okay, because you use the example, the formula M equals to Px multiplied by X plus Py multiplied by Y. Okay, that one is not relates to the, because if you use that formula, okay, the income keeps on changing because how many X that you buy, okay, multiplied by the price of X, okay, will be different from point to, for example, okay, if you look at this line here, okay, so every line means you have different combination of X and Y. So if you use that way, okay, so your income keeps on changing. Okay, so the correct way for you to calculate the income is using the simple concept of I over PX, okay, that we discussed previously in our slide, okay, when we learn on the budget line, okay. So I think we learn here on the slide, which one is it? Yeah, this one, okay, M over PX or I over income over price of X, income over the price of Y. So if you want to know, so if you use all of your money, okay, to buy all of X, okay, zero of Y and vice versa, okay. So uh, for example, you use all of your money to so I over PX, you get so the formula that I show here, how you get 240, okay, because for X, the budget constraint cuts the horizontal at 12 units. Okay, for example, here will be 12, and for Y, it cuts at 20. Okay, and you know the price of good X is $20. Okay, so the formula, so 20 divided by, okay, I over income over price equals to 12. So you cross multiply, you get 240. Same for Y as well. Okay, so that's how we get the answer to be B. Okay, so use the formula income divide by Px, okay, equals to the intersection point. Okay, I over Px or M over Px equals to the okay. So this value is referring to the whether it cuts on the y-axis or cuts on the x-axis. If Px, it refers to the uh, x-axis. If you put Py, then it's referring to the y-axis here lah. Okay. So that is what we discussed until last Thursday. Okay, so the next question will be, okay, so what will be the, okay, answer for this? Okay, so in the beginning, I saw some of you chose the answer A, which is AB. Okay, so and then now some of you also chose the answer C, which is A, D. Okay, so only two possible solutions lah, either AB or AD. So either A or C lah. B and D I think is not relevant because AC is still the same answer. Okay, and then DAO, which is okay, not even, I think O is the origin point, so which is not correct lah. Okay, so the formula to calculate the intersection point, okay, I just went through the previous question, is income, okay, M divided by PX. On the y-axis, it will be M divided by the price of Y, okay. So this is just simple mathematics. If the price of X decrease, books is on the X-axis, okay, because only the price of X changes, Y does not change. That's why the point on Y remain the same. So if this value drops, okay, so mathematically you divide something smaller, the value with the whole notation M over PX will increase lah. So meaning C will move to D. Okay, so the answer should be C lah. Okay, A is correct if the question, now I will change to the price of the book price increase. Okay, so if the book price increase, then the answer should be A. Okay, if the price of book increase, so PX goes up, okay, M divided by something bigger, then the value M over PX will become smaller. So then the curve will shift to the left. Okay, so this is not for you to memorize. You need to understand the simple logic behind this, the simple formula. M over PX, M over PY for good Y, M over PX for good in the X-axis. Okay, so the answer should be, yeah. Okay, one more question. So the next question is on topic number 5. Topic number 6. Okay, one more question before we end our class for today. Okay, so some of you chose B, some of you chose C. So which one is the correct one, B or C? Okay, so A and D I think is out of question because if you choose the same amount, then so you are at equilibrium when both values are the same. MUX over PX must be equal to MUY over PY. So this ratio is bigger, this is smaller. So how do you make both ratios equal? One way is to increase this one, okay, or to make this one smaller, because if you keep on increasing MUX over PX, then you cannot be at equilibrium. So the one bigger need to go down, the one smaller needs to go up. Okay, because if this one keeps on going down, okay, okay, so if you want to reduce, so this the high one need to go down. Okay, the smaller one needs to go up. So that's the only way for you to uh, meet in the middle, meaning go at equilibrium. So so how do you reduce this ratio? Okay, the price of X and the price of Y definitely cannot change, because the only thing that can be changed is the marginal utility, the MUX and also MUY. The price of X and Y cannot be, because you don't have control over the price of X and Y. Okay, so if you want to make MUX over PX smaller, is for you to reduce the MU, okay, but for Y you need to increase. So this one needs to go down, this one needs to go up. Okay, for MUY you need to increase marginal utility, for marginal utility X you need to reduce. Then if this is become smaller, then MUX over PX, the 8 value can go lower. Okay, but for MUY over PY, if you want to increase the value of 4 to a higher value, so because PY remain constant, so the only way to increase is to increase MUY. So how do you reduce marginal utility? Okay, if you go back to the notes that we discussed last week, okay, you can reduce your marginal utility by increasing the number of consumption, because when you add more and more of your consumption, your MU will start to decline from 30 to 9 to 6 to 5 and so forth. Okay, so so the correct way to view this is, if you want to reduce MU, you need to consume more of X. Okay, but if you want to increase your MU, you need to reduce consumption, because if you look at this diagram, if you reduce, then your MU will go up. If you increase, your MU will go down. So if you want to increase your marginal utility, if you want to reduce your MU, you keep on increasing your consumption, just like when you watch a movie. The first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, the more times you watch the movie, the less your MU will be. Okay, so here, if you want to reduce MU, you need to use more of X. Then your MU will start to decline. If you use more of, if you want to increase your MU, you need to consume less. So for MUX over PX, you want to consume less. For MUY, for good Y, you want to reduce Y. Sorry, for X, you want to increase you want to reduce the value of MU. The only way is to cut the consumption. To increase the consumption. But for good Y, because you want to increase the marginal utility, so you need to work in reverse, meaning you need to consume less. So the answer should be C. Okay. So you need to see these things at 2 steps. First, you want to reduce MU and you want to increase MUY. You want to reduce MUX, you want to increase MUY. So how do you increase your marginal utility? How do you how do you reduce? By increasing X. How do you increase your marginal utility? By reducing the consumption of Y. Okay, so that's it for today. Okay, we'll continue